Welcome to
Split the Defense,
where Jordan Webster and Ted Evans talk about the NHL and all things hockey.
Split the Defense
Is broadcasted on Amherst Island Radio, 101.3 FM, and online at CJAI.CA.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Split the Defense Hockey Podcast. Welcoming our listeners on Amherst Island Radio, 101.3 CJAI and CJAI.CA, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm Jordan Webster, also welcoming in my co-host, Ted Evans, who runs production for every show. And Ted also created and performed the intro and outro for Hockey Talk with Jay and Evie. So the biggest thing that we're here to talk about right now, what we got to talk about first. What do you think? It's got to be Austin Matthews.
Yeah, I knew we had to bring this up. We got to talk about this.
Oh man, I've been waiting to talk about this. It's been like week, 2 weeks. I'm just dying inside here. So Austin Matthews re-ups for 4 more years. 4. That's fantastic. Ooh. That's fantastic news. So now we have this year upcoming, plus 4 more years. Another half a decade of Austin Matthews. Who doesn't love that? If you don't love that, you're just ridiculous and get out of here.
You're just a Leafs hater. You must be. You're
jealous.
Keep
listening.
You hate that, you're jealous.
Jealous.
Yeah.
That's
Stay
exactly
around.
it.
I mean, because you might be an Avs fan, maybe, and you're just. I don't know why. I'm an Avs fan. And I'm not mad about it, but I don't know. Maybe you have your own thing going on out there. I don't know. But yeah, I'm Avs fan. Buddy Jordan here likes the Leafs, so I've been following the Leafs a little bit more than I have been of other years, and I'm happy for this. Man, that's great news for Leafs fans, for Austin himself, for the team, teammates. Still got Matty around. They got to love that too.
Who doesn't love that, honestly? And so really? if you take the math, he is actually only 15% of the cap, which is a lot lower than other people have taken. I believe Ovechkin, when he signed way back, he had only $9.5 million contract, but he was taking like 19% of the cap.
Woo.
And if you're going to tell me that Austin Matthews could have played this year, went out next year and gotten $15+ million from another team, then you're lying to yourself, because that is 100% what would have happened if he didn't sign this. It is a lot of money, but it is definitely a team discount. I'm stoked on it. Like, I definitely think they're going to be able to build around it, especially the cap's supposed to fly, right? It's supposed to jump up through the roof like millions of dollars in the next few years, because all the money's coming back in after COVID.
Yes. Yeah, like crazy amounts, right? And one example, look at Chicago, right? The amount of money they're making hand over fist with Bedard coming in. Oh man, the whole league around, there's so much money coming in.
It's going to be jersey sales alone.
Oh,
has to be making like Connor Bedard has single-handedly taken that franchise from a bottom-feeding, hated franchise. Excuse me, I'm trying to watch my words here. I don't want to say things that I'm not supposed to say on the radio. They were disgusting to every fan base, and you know what, even their own. And now all of a sudden, Connor Bedard has come in and he's rejuvenated this fan base. He's going to sell jerseys. He's going to fill seats, and everybody's just going to forget. Right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. That whole era is
he's that beyond, good. He's going to be generational. I can't wait to see him lace up in the NHL this year and play. It's going to be magic, I'm sure.
For sure.
It's just unfortunate that all that stuff happened in Chicago for him to have to go there now, and for us to not want to cheer for them, even though, come on, it's going to be amazing. I never really cared about Pittsburgh Penguins, but we always loved Sidney Crosby, right?
Right
there. So there you go. Yeah. But yeah, Matthews, 13.25, 4 more years after this next one. So we got 5 more years of Austin Matthews, and this year he's still at 11.6. So next year people are going to be due for contracts.
Yeah.
By the time his contract actually kicks in, he might not even be the highest paid player in the league, because this does make him the highest paid player in the league.
Right. At the time of us knowing about it now and who's out there being paid. But you're right. by the time, there's probably going to be someone out there by then getting paid more. Do
How
you
do
think
you
we'll know? Go
how do
ahead.
you
Who do you?
feel about him making more than McKinnon?
Oh, I'm not. I think it's cool. McKinnon makes more than McDavid, so I'm just for now.
For now.
Exactly. See what happens on his next one. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not upset about it. I think it's cool. Like, it's good for him. Good for Austin.
I wonder who the first $20 million player is.
Oh, geez, yeah. Probably a
It's gonna
kid who's
happen.
like not even born yet, maybe.
It's definitely gonna happen. Then we're gonna see him catch up. You see NFL players making like $50 million a year, some of these guys. So I mean,
Yeah,
it could happen.
that's right.
So a guy who's not signed, William Nylander, we're all waiting on him to sign. He said to Merrick and Friedman, he doesn't see why it's a big deal. He's still got a year left. So Willie. That's so Willie. Like, he's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's just like,
whatever. He's like, I love Toronto. Yeah, I want to stay here. That is exactly what everybody says. It's exactly what Johnny Gaudreau said before he skipped town.
true. So is that where you think it's going? Do you think
I
eventually?
I think he's getting to the point where it's like, if you won't pay me, somebody will. And if I'm not going to win here, I kind of want to see my options, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And
I
you
mean,
can't
let's
blame the
see
guy
how
for
this year goes, right?
yeah,
I don't know. Like, does he have full faith in the management? You have to wonder on his side of these things too, right? Like, he's a great player and you want him to stay. We want him to stay, but in the player's shoes, if he could go and win elsewhere, it's not like the Leafs are winning the cup every year. Statistics say don't sign in Canada and you have a better chance of winning the cup. So, like,
yeah. If he wants to win a cup, but who knows? It could be that situation. He leaves the Leafs and they go on and win a cup. Like, who knows? You never know who's, well, I shouldn't say that because there are teams who aren't going to win the cup that year. So and there's contenders usually going into every year. So yeah, he might search out his options. But
yeah.
man, I would say he's got a year right now with this new, the new GM, things changing up in Toronto. He's just going to see what happens. Just like you said, he's got like a year of how's it going to work out. He's going to
Yeah,
check it
is
out,
this
check out
team
his
any
options.
good? How's the GM operate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. And honestly, like, his father, as anybody who follows Leafs would know, his father was out for the money, and that's been talked about since his first contract came around.
Mm,
And, whatever, good on them. They have a short earning window. Go make your money, because I don't want somebody here who doesn't want to be here. But we do want William Nylander here right now on this last year, and we hope he does sign for another year.
yes. 100%. That's what I would think.
So
I'm interested though.
moving on. We got a whole bunch of new Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, yes, we do.
I want you to tell me how you feel about some of these new players.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Who do you want to start with?
well, why don't we start with Ross Colton?
Ross Colton, man, what a pickup. I'm happy with Ross Colton as an Av. I think the Avs were too. I think we signed him right away. What was it, 4 years, I think, or something? Penned up a 4-year deal or something. Something happened, didn't it?
I'd have to look at that.
And then Miles Wood, that's the next one we signed. Like,
It's the
these
next
guys,
one. So
I
last
can
year
tell.
Ross Colton had 16 goals, 16 assists
Yeah,
in
he's
81 games. It's not bad.
He's gonna fit in very well. I think I could see him having a 20-goal season with the Avs.
Yeah, he makes he 4 years, $16 million. So 4 years, $4
Yep.
million.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. I like that. I think that's fair. I think he's going to fit in right where he needs to be. And like I said, talking about contracts and signing takes us into Miles Wood. I think we signed him to like a 7-year deal or something ridiculous.
Okay, so let's look into that Miles Wood
Yeah,
contract.
Yeah, because Colorado likes him.
6 year,
I know
$15 million deal.
Okay, 6 year.
So an average annual value of $2.5 million a year. But
that's sweet.
But his stats last year weren't they were not dissimilar to Colton. Right? So he scored in 76 games, he scored 13 goals and 14 assists.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And he was playing like fourth line minutes.
Yeah. So I think he's a bit of I think that contract is a bit of a
A
steal in the sense,
steal.
and we'll see how he progresses
He's so
throughout those 6
fast.
years too. Yeah, speedy,
Oh
right?
man, he's
And
so
see what
fast.
happens over these 6 years, like how he fits into the team. Things are gonna, chemistry factors into all this stuff too. Um, and that for me, if we're talking chemistry, leads me right into the next one is Drouin, right? Jonathan Drouin, like, is
Yeah,
that
he had an
not?
interesting year last year. So like
Well, yes,
he has went from when he was with the Tampa Bay Lightning, he scored in 73 games, he scored 21 goals and 32 assists in 2016-17. Then he was traded to the
yeah,
Montreal Canadiens. He played
yes,
77 games. He had 13 goals, 33 assists. Not bad.
right,
Then he played in 18-19. He had played 81 games. He had 18 goals, 35 assists. Getting
okay,
better. Then in 1920, in this 1920 season, he played 27 games, but he only scored 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 points, which is still a decent pace because that would mean that probably translate to 28 goals or something. That would have not a bad year if he could have kept that pace.
right,
Uh, 2020, 2021 is where he dropped off. In 44 games, he had 23 points, 2 goals, 21 assists.
right.
In
21
21,
assists is still
22, he only played 34 games and had 6 goals and 14 assists.
okay.
You think, 21 assists ain't bad.
Not bad for that, for a short amount, for a short season,
Yeah.
like a short amount of games.
Yeah.
But I see
So,
him and
so he's
Nate.
a half a
My
point
big
per
thing,
game player.
yeah, yeah, and I think him and Nate, like, we're gonna see them link up together on some kind of lines. Like, I don't know if he's going to be on the top line with Nate, but we're going to see those two end up on a combo somewhere on lines, and they go back. They've got history playing together, and I think we're just going to see him setting up Nate like
Yeah, if there's one thing
constantly.
for sure, he can clearly pass because it's like 2 goals,
Yes.
27 assists last year,
Yeah.
29 points in 58 games. So if you do look at that, he's just over a half a point per game player. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's good to add to. Maybe it'll be good third line. Maybe it'll be a good
Especially for,
compliment on a top line or something like that.
yeah, and it's a cheap contract, right? There, it's like a low contract, not very costly, and works for us. Works for him. Works for us. Maybe we'll spark a little bit of new life out of him, and he'll give the team a little bit of new life too. Yeah, we've got a real new cast of characters to work with in Colorado. A cast of characters in Colorado. I like that. And yeah, we've got a good group going in. It's so easy for me to compare to the cup winning Avalanche of recent, when we won the cup, and there was Kadri and there was Kemper in net, right? And yeah, like, what a,
What a
there was
team
so
that
many
was. That team
things.
was an
Yeah,
absolute wagon.
exactly. Like,
Like,
you couldn't stop it. We were just like, oh, we're gonna go up against Edmonton. What's gonna happen there? Four straight. Edmonton's out. Like, they just steamrolled. It was unreal. I loved watching that. That was one of my favorite seasons ever. So it's easy for me to keep comparing to that. That's what I constantly do. I see this team this year looking. Obviously, nothing's going to look like that, but I think we're looking good again. I think we're looking like we got a shot. We're up there
honestly,
in the
like I was
odds.
looking at the lines and I was like, holy crap. Like, did they actually Joe's taking another run, eh? He's like, I think we can do this again with this core. Like, Nate's young, right? Nate's
Yeah.
young, Rantanen's young. Like, they definitely still got another shot at this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And Makar coming up. Oh my God, Makar's a legend already.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, he could lead the league in the next 5 years and nobody would ever be surprised.
That's true. But you know what? We are not the only team with a new look. We got a new look
Oh, we missed one
in.
though. We missed
No, we
one.
didn't.
Ryan Johansson.
Who? Oh, we did. Second line center Ryan Johansson from the Nashville Predators. We traded him Alex Galchenyuk to clear space for them. We got Ryan Johansson. We were like, sure, we'll do that trade. They obviously didn't sign Galch. That wasn't the point of that trade for them. It was a cap space thing.
He had an
And
interesting summer, eh?
oh, geez, yeah. Because then, yeah, he goes to Arizona, signs there, and 12 days after signing in Arizona, gets in a car wreck with his father in the car or something, and the witnesses say they're laying on the ground. After they get out of the car, they're laying on the ground, and police come up, and some crazy words get exchanged with the police, and he gets all these charges, and Arizona drops them.
What a
And it's like,
crazy time.
yeah,
So Ryan Johansson last year, again, I'm seeing a trend here. He makes $4 million for
$4
this year
million.
and next year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's about a half a point per game player.
Yeah.
He
We're
scored
stacking up with
12
these guys.
goals, 16 assists last year for 28 points in 55 games.
Ooh, solid.
And
Yeah.
the year before, he scored 26 goals and 37 points for 37 assists for 63 points, which is a lot better. 63 points in 79 games. That's decent.
Nice.
That's very decent. So if he can go back to that and score 25 for the Avs this year, yeah, they're definitely going to be looking good at center that can score them 25 goals. Heck, you love that.
Yes. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Second line center. We needed that too. That's been the thing, because then we're skipping around these guys from the top line, trying different combinations. No, now we got a solid second line center. He's going to be the guy, and we can play around with the other positions and switch around. We don't have Landeskog this year. Again, he's out for the whole year, so we're making do. We're picking up some solid guys who can get in front of the net and set up other guys, tip in some goals, do what they got to do. I'm happy. I am happy with our new look.
I think you will be. You will have to see how it all meshes, though. Nothing's done until it's done.
Of course. Yeah. Seeing stuff on paper is so different than seeing it on the ice. But yeah, again, I got to transition into this because a couple of guys I want to see on the ice are some new guys that the Leafs got.
Oh,
And
absolutely. Where do we start?
Right? Like this is quite the list of new players.
So we got Tyler Bertuzzi. Sorry, we got Todd Bertuzzi, Ty Domi.
No.
Oh, wait, sorry. Tyler
yeah.
Bertuzzi, Max Domi, Ryan Reeves, John Klingberg, and Simon Benoit.
Oh, yes. Yeah, right.
So I think we'll work backwards. I think the funnest one to mention is Simon Benoit. Now, you know those players who go and play on bad teams and have big minutes and they end up like just in the NHL just on fluke because they were drafted into the right system or right team that wanted to tank at the right time and they needed players and you were like just good enough. So they played you and then another team signed you. I think this is what happened because he was a second line player with John Klingberg last year for the Ducks and they got absolutely caved.
Yes.
So I think if he's used more like a seventh defenseman,
right,
he might be in a better spot. But he's big. He's 6'3". I think he's like 210 or something like that. He's a big boy.
Solid.
Big solid boy. He's ripped, absolutely ripped. There was a picture going around with him with his shirt off, like fishing or something like that. The man is jacked. His muscles have muscles.
Oh, that's
it's
intense.
stupid. So that's fun. I mean, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough, right? So, I think if he's plays, third pair minutes, not with John Klingberg, obviously, because we know that doesn't work. He could be good, but he hits, he skates, he hits, and he fights, and he's physical, and he's not a great passer, and he's not a great offensive threat, but he can play defense, I guess. So you need those guys. Guys, right? Because people are going to have to pass through waivers and stuff. He also makes like $775K or $750K. It's like either minimum or just above minimum.
So it's like, why not?
You can't really complain about that. So that's
like free breadsticks.
That's
like throw them in. Yeah, sure.
Free, it's free breadsticks. Absolutely, I'll take them. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sure. Throw it in. Yeah, throw them in.
Like absolutely. So that's my thoughts on Simon Benoit. I think that it's kind of a nothing, but maybe something. We'll see what happens. John Klingberg, I am up and down like the weather in Ontario.
I knew it. I was already.
Because I am like, he's going to be great. And then I'm like, I can't believe they would risk it on John Klingberg. Like, he's not. Do you guys forget Tyson Barrie? Did we all forget Tyson Barrie?
I didn't. But yeah, maybe some Leafs fans did. No,
absolutely.
Come on. Yeah, I hope it's not another one of those.
Oh, I would. Talking of John Klingberg, I actually wrote an article on him for Inside the Rink at www.insidetherink.com. You can look under the Leafs page and you'll find all my articles. And I, at the time, was super skeptical. And when I did my comparison to Jake Gardner and Tyson Berry to who this player is, it's like the same guy. It's like the three Spider-Man pointing at each other. Like they're the same guy. I don't know why you guys think this is going to work, but like go ahead and try it, I guess. I mean, the power play is definitely going to benefit. Maybe we'll be like the Oilers and just power play merchants, just like power play gods. Who knows? But I have no idea what the thinking behind John Klingberg is, because you can't have him playing big minutes with Morgan Riley, right?
No.
Those guys are liability.
Yeah, that I couldn't see that happening.
Yeah, so
can't do that.
You wouldn't want to do that.
But would he fight? Would he fight? Do you think? Would
actually, I think
Would
he did.
Fight?
I think he's a little bit mean. I think he's a little scrappy. He's not a fighter, but I feel like he's been in a couple of fights. He's been in a couple of fights, and I don't think he's going to fight a fighter, but I think he'll fight a rat. You know.
I see. Okay. Good.
Yeah. So
good. We can. Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head who his fights were, but I think he's only got a couple. Maybe one, but I think it's 2 or 3. To be honest with you, we'd have to go look that up. So moving on, we have Ryan Reeves, who has way more than 2 or 3 fights in his career.
This guy fights.
So that's what we basically brought him in for. They paid him way too much money, but he's going to be a character guy in the room, I guess, right? I guess he's the kind of guy that brings the team together. He's the one that makes everybody come out for dinner. He likes to throw parties, and he wants to make sure everybody's at his parties. He likes to make sure everybody's comfortable. He's checking in and always looking out for the guys. So you love that kind of guy, but you also love him at league minimum.
Yes.
You can't pay him $1.3 million. I mean, if you were to try and waive him, which you could, and some other team would probably just take him, and he didn't get taken on waivers, then he'd be a $200,000 hit against the cap, because his 1.1 would get buried from the 1.3. It's not really that big of a deal if he wasn't working out. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like we could.
So what are they paying him? What are they paying him this year?
1.3 for 3 years.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that. Yeah. I feel like that is a lot for not like a lot, but too much for Ryan Reeves.
It is, when you can get a guy for half the price, basically, right? That will do that same job, but it's not Ryan Reeves. Ryan Reeves is the guy that does that job. So,
right.
I mean, I guess you're paying a bit of a premium. I would have been happier around $1 million. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Fair.
Max Domi. Who does? It's a Domi.
Yeah.
There's Domi on the jersey again.
It's a Domi in Toronto.
We've wanted this forever. He's wanted this forever. We all faked like both sides didn't care. Nah, I don't love him. He doesn't love us, and we don't care. And it means nothing. That was 1,000,000 years ago. And who cares? He's back. And we're like, oh my God, you're back.
Yeah. Yeah.
All giddy and high pitched voices. And so I think everybody's stoked to have him. He's a bit of a rat. You know, he's going to fill in that what everybody thinks that. I think everybody expects Tyler Bunting to be a big rat. He's not very physical. Or Tyler Bertuzzi expects to be a Michael Bunting replacement, and he's kind of a rat, right? And I don't think that's who I think that's going to be. I think it's going to be Max Domi. I think that's who's going to be the guy that fills Michael Bunting's shoes as far as the rat goes. But you do need a skilled guy to play with the top line, where Michael Bunting could do both. The problem is he an actual target spray painted on his back that says refs call here.
Yeah, and it's tough it's great to have a guy do both, but when your guy who's doing both then gets called all the time, then you lose that skilled guy that can, we saw it happen. We saw
I think Domi's going to be like a Michael Bunting, or yes, I did that right. Domi's going to be a Michael Bunting light.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Bunting light. Not as good, but
still, gets gritty and does the things, and the refs are like, Max, come on.
And what I see Tyler Bertuzzi being more as is kind of like William Nylander light.
Okay,
right.
Yeah.
He can run and gun. He's quick. He can hound the puck. Thing is that he doesn't slow up like Nylander. Like he may be a similar player, different style, similar player, but he's got speed. He can stretch the ice out. He's got a wicked shot.
Great
and he sees the ice well. Oh yeah. I don't know how accurate his passes are or anything like that, but boy, does he make some nice plays. He sees the ice very, very well. So I think that's going to be the filling in of the top line scoring. And we still got Matthew Nyes, right? So did we forget about him? He was a revelation in the playoffs last year. And that was the actual playoffs. like the playoffs
Yeah.
where people try harder, and he played really well. Imagine when he's not in the playoffs, the guy's going to score 20, 25. Like it's going to be
be
nuts.
sick.
So now we got the new look: Bertuzzi, Domi. We got Reeves probably down on the fourth line. We got Klingberg playing probably second line minutes with, I envision, McCabe. Right?
Okay.
You probably have a shutdown of McCabe and Klingberg. And then you have Simon Benoit, who was just signed. And the Leafs are like $3 million over the cap. So
Jeez.
somebody's got to go.
Still got to work it out. Yeah.
So, Ted, how many wins for the Avalanche this year?
How many wins?
Do you have any idea how many times they won last year? How many actual wins they had?
It was a good number, wasn't it?
I mean, it's a good number, but like, what's a good number? Like, there's lots of good numbers.
Well, I know Georgie had a
lucky
good
number. What's the number you think?
How many wins did they have? Well, they had like 109 points, I think, or something like that. I don't know.
I just remember the wins. That's the only thing I have here.
I don't know, man.
They had 56 wins last year.
56. Okay, yeah,
So the Leafs, they had 54.
Right. Okay. So how many this year?
So I like to set the over-under at 55.
Okay.
What do you think? What do you think? So over or under 55? Are the Avs going to be better or worse than they were last year?
Better than they were last year.
So you think? What would you set the over/under at?
I think 55 makes sense.
55,
I think they're going over 55.
Maybe 56-ish, 55, 56. You're not like confident enough to get it up to like 60.
No, not that high.
Yeah,
I think like
that's tough.
If you gave me an over under of 55, I'd easily go with over, because I'm confident. But if you said like over under 58, even, I might be like, I don't know. Yeah, I think they're going to be like 56, 57, maybe 58.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be a lot of points. I think the Leafs will be right in around 55 again. I don't think they're going to be very far off what they were last year. To hit the over on that, that really makes me skeptical. Would I put money on it? Maybe $2 to hit the over, because you like wins. But like, I don't know. I honestly, I don't think they're going to get more than 55. I think that they're going to get a bunch of overtime losses like they usually do, and that'll get them a bunch of extra loser points, which will help.
Loser points.
Well, it helps.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're loser points.
Oh.
That's what they are. They're just, a consolation prize. Like, here, thanks. Yeah, I get 1 point. Loser point. Yeah. I guess they count, though. They all count at the end. If you lose enough times in overtime. You lose twice in overtime, it's like a win.
Exactly. Just with a couple games in hand.
Like now we actually only lost one of those games, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, we split that.
Yeah, split that right there. Exactly.
Yeah.
So who do you think scores more goals next year? Austin Matthews or Mikko Rantanen?
Or Mikko Rantanen. Oh.
Do you know how many goals Mikko Rantanen had last year?
Yeah, he had 55, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. He ripped it last year. Dude, I could honestly see him and I think that was a Avs record, if I'm not mistaken, because I think Joe was somewhere up around there, or I think he tied the record. 55 goals as an Av was the most any Av has scored, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But,
so do you think him or Matthews hit 60?
Matthews has done 60. We know that. He didn't last year, but he has done it. Rantanen's obviously never done it. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say Rantanen does it, and I think Rantanen scores more than Matty.
You know what?
I know you don't like.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay.
Especially depending on the lines. If they split Mitch and Matty up, then Matty might have more options to pass, and he's a great passer, and he gets a lot of attention, so he can hit a wide open guy. And if he's, say, with Nylander and Bertuzzi on a line, those guys can score too, right? So, I think all three of them are going to score lots of goals. I think Matthews scores 50 again this year, but I don't know if he gets, maybe more
60.
than that. I don't think he's going to get 60. I think 50, 52, 53, somewhere in there. I think that's kind of it. I would not doubt that Rantanen has a chance to outscore Matthews, but I bet you they're neck and neck, and we'll have to see how that goes. We should
Yeah.
put money down on who's going to win the highest goal scorer,
Ooh. Okay.
and we'll come back and show our
Out of
odds,
those two?
see how much money we're
Yeah.
going to win. Yeah, so I'll put it on
Okay.
Matthews to win the Rocket Richard, and you'll put it on Ryan, and we'll see who's going
Bring
to
it.
win.
Yeah, I'm in.
So here's another one. Who scores more points? Now, this one, I know what you're going to say. It's Mitch Marner and Nate McKinnon.
Yeah,
But
you don't you know my answer.
do you not think that maybe Mitch Marner might break through this year and get that 120 points or something stupid? Like, he's right there. He's almost a 100-point player, and I think he might, with a little bit better cast and crew, especially if that power play's boosted up with John Klingberg, he might. He just
He
might.
could. Yeah. Yeah, Marner's looking really comfortable in Toronto. He's really, I don't know, like this might be the year he like really finds that groove and goes nuts and gets crazy amounts of points.
I kind
And
of
I
have a
do see that.
feeling that like he's
Yeah.
going to go off this year.
Yep, this could be Marner's year for sure. I just have to go with McKinnon because if I said it, I couldn't wear this jersey. I don't think if I.
Well, he's done it, right? McKinnon's he's beaten Marner before in points. He's scored over 100 before, I think multiple times. So like he's definitely on, the guy to pick to do it. But I think that there's a good case to say Mitch Marner breaks out this year and scores more points than Nathan McKinnon. Not more than Connor McDavid or anything like that, but
right, yeah.
Maybe like right in there.
Man.
He might be second or third,
Yeah.
Third to Nate
McKinnon.
I
can see it.
He'll be like third in the league in points, and the second will be Nate. Like, what?
Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How even?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a tight one too. I think those two might end up being neck and neck a lot of the time too. We'll see times where one of them's ahead a little bit, and we see the other guy go on a streak or something, and bounce back and forth, neck and neck. That's a good question too.
It's going to be interesting to see because of all the guys that have changed on both teams. If the teams are even good, like, what if they're bad?
Yeah, I don't think. No.
What if they're just like, it just doesn't work, and these teams are bad?
Oh, that would be so disheartening because I feel so hopeful right now.
I know.
So hopeful.
We all do. We're all undefeated.
Yeah.
Undefeated.
Yes. Here we go.
It's the best time of the year, except for there's no hockey yet, and it's like really hard. Sorry, Connor, if you ever listen to this, I haven't written anything in like 10 days. It's really hard to think of something to write. There's like nothing going on. Like, just start already. Oh my gosh, start already.
Yeah.
Like,
just start.
I need some things to talk about. I'm on the brink here. Like, all this stuff that we're talking about tonight, I've already written about it. So we're out of topics. Holy smokes.
Yes.
And I also don't have somebody to banter with it about, right? I can only share my thoughts and we never get into tangents.
That's right.
It's if hockey could just start tomorrow, that would just be great, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this one I thought was fun. You can follow after me. I want you to guess your starting goalie stats. The games played, wins, save percentage, and goals against average.
Okay.
So I think Samsonov is the starter. Samsonov. Sammy plays 50 games, I think. He's going to win 35 of them. And he's going to have a .920 save percentage and a 2.37 goals against average.
Okay.
So
I can see that.
I think Joseph Wool is going to play
50 games.
The other 30 games or ish, maybe with somebody else, because we also have Martin Jones that just got signed. He might play a few games in there and pick up some wins for them. But I guessed random goals against average, 2.37 goals against average. I don't know why, but that's what I guessed. That's what it is. So we'll save that. What do you think? Do you think Frankie takes the net, or do you think it's Georgie's job?
No, it's Georgie's job, 100%. He played 62 games last year. I think he's going to do something similar. We'll see him play about 58 to 60 games, I think. He'll be up there. He's going to take the majority. Last year he had 40 wins. 40 wins.
Yeah.
Like, that's That's crazy.
Wasn't he like
Out of
second in the league or like first in the league? Like, he was really
yeah, he
high
was like
for wins. Yeah.
yeah, he was right there with what was it? Allmark
Yeah, it was
from
Allmark.
Boston,
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
who had the
Yeah.
most wins, obviously.
Yeah, that
Duh.
was a crazy
That was
season,
stupid me.
but yeah, I think so. Yeah, games played. Like I said, I think I'll go with 59. I said 58 to 60, so I'll go 59. Wins, um, I'll go 39. Um, and then yeah, and then goals against average. Last year he was 2.53. I'm hoping it's. I don't know. You play a lot of games, you get numbers. I don't know. I'm hoping it's, I guess, a little better, but 2.5. I guess if the boys are scoring, if they're scoring 2.5 goals, as long as we're scoring 3, we're good. And save percentage, 919 last year. So, I'm going to give them a little improvement, I guess. Just 9-2, just up.
920.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I got the 50, 35, 920, and 2.3. And you got 59, 39, 920, and 2.5. I think it'll be very similar. And you think there's going to be more goals in the Avs games than I expect in the Leafs games, which
Yeah.
could very well happen.
It happens. Georgie was getting scored on a lot, but it was thankfully we had Makar and Rantanen and McKinnon just ripping goals. Like we were scoring like 4 or 5 goals a game on regular.
Yeah. Well, the Avs were really hurt last year too, right? If they're not hurt this year, there's probably going to be a force right out the gate.
Yeah, that was the thing, right? It was all those injuries.
Picked up
I
Val
had
Nichushkin
like
in fantasy last year, and he was hurt like all year long, off and on and off and on. And like, he was a great player. Never wanted to drop him for fantasy, but like, holy smokes.
yeah,
He was hurt a
man,
lot. And then even like
he
Makar got hurt,
was.
McKinnon got hurt. Didn't everybody get hurt at one point?
Everyone was like, we were essentially the Colorado Eagles at one point, the AHL team. It
Landeskog
was
essentially
awful.
never came back from the cup run. He
Yeah,
did the
that
cup
was
run,
it.
and he hasn't played in like 24 months.
Yeah, exactly. He practiced with the team a couple times, and around the playoff time last year, then that kind of boosted guys' spirits. But non-contact, any of that stuff. But man, oh, that's so. It was so. That was one of the most deflating things I heard all season was, or all off season was when we got the news that Landeskog would not be playing the entire season. He said, "Well, we're going to do what we got to do."
Yeah. Well, we have preseason hockey coming up. Preseason for
Okay.
the Leafs begins September 24th against the Ottawa Senators. They play the Canadiens and the Sabres during the preseason before ending at the Red Wings on October the 7th. Holy crap, it's so far away before we have actual meaningful hockey. So October the
Yeah.
7th, and they're going to play a total of 8 preseason games. The
Okay.
Avs preseason kicks off against the Wild at 3 p.m. on September 24th, and they play a back-to-back for some reason against the Golden Knights on the 25th. The Avalanche, they play on the 24th at 3 p.m., and then they play at 9 p.m. on the 25th. Like,
that
it's
sucks.
wild. But yeah, anyways, it's preseason, so it's just going to be split
Yeah,
squads, right? So it's whatever.
that's right.
But crazy. And they also play the Stars before finishing off in Vegas for their final preseason game on October the 5th. So then after their last game, they're going to have even longer to wait before the season actually starts. So that brings me to, is the preseason too long?
As a fan, I would say yeah, but I get it. I get that time. I love the preseason for fantasy hockey, man. When I was in fantasy, like the first fantasy league I ever did, I watched preseason. I was like the only guy in the league to watch preseason, and I picked up I forget his first name now, Mikhailic. He used to play for San Jose, and he was like unknown at the time. And he came out and was like ripping hat tricks all year and like crazy season. And
Milan
yeah,
Mikhailic.
Milan Mikhailic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He's Ottawa
And
Senator. He's a Leaf for a little bit.
yeah. Oh, true. Yeah. So exactly. that's one of those guys. He'd be a good answer on Puck Doku.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, preseason can be valuable. You can get some real valuable stats and
But it's
looks on it.
so long, man. It takes forever. Like, I just want real hockey to start. Like, just come
Yeah.
back already.
I get it.
Hopefully, we need to shorten the season. We need to start it a little bit earlier. Like, it needs to start probably a week or two earlier, and we need to end it a little earlier. So, like, that way, you're not playing hockey in June. Like, the cup needs to be given out in May, and then they have June, July, August. It comes back into training camp, and like, it's just not so dead. You know?
Right, and then starts up,
Yeah, because like by the end of August around Canada here anyways, it's getting crappy. Like, it might as well be training camp this week, next week, right? Like, it's school's back in, so is hockey. That's how it should be.
We've got a little bit of OHL action that we could check out here in the Kingston area. The Fronts are doing some preseason stuff now and doing their camps. They did all the Team Black, Team Gold, and Team Gray, and
yeah, we will definitely be down at a few of those games, and we will post on our social media on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram at Split the Defense Podcast or Split the Defense Hockey Podcast or just Split the Defense. You'll find it. It's all the same logo. You just can't always get the same handle everywhere. So we're all over the place, but we'll post it. We'll be down there, and we'd love to see anybody who actually listens to this show, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't think anybody really does.
But
we still love
We're
doing
working
it
on
anyways.
Yeah, we love
There's probably people out there that are like, yeah, I don't count. You do count. You'd be amazing if you just let me know that you were out there. I would really appreciate it. So before that happens, we might check out some France games, but we're looking forward to the first regular season game, which is obviously after October 7th. And I didn't even write down when the first regular season game is, because we have like 5 shows before then and just like nothing to talk about. So we'll be down probably checking out the Kingston Front next, having some news and things to say about them, because, you know, those are the NHLers of our future.
That's right. That is very true. I've seen many NHLer in that arena and in that setting before they make it and become the big guy. Like McDavid, saw him play in that arena.
So I have one more question before we go through the couple UFAs that are remaining. What team are you most afraid of heading into this season?
What team am I most afraid of? Ooh, for the Avs.
For anybody, it doesn't even have to be the Avs.
Oh, okay.
Like, who do you think is going to run the league this year?
I definitely. I think New Jersey is going to be scary.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, they're going to be. Good. They are. But the other one I'm thinking is our Cup champions, the Vegas Golden Knights. I think we got to watch for them a little bit more too. I don't like them. I really don't like them. I do not like them. I don't like seeing them do well, and seeing them win the Cup was so harsh. I think
they might have some Cup hangover. Might have a slow start.
Yeah,
we'll see how the team actually still comes together. It was a lot of people came together to win that Cup for them. It wasn't just a normal roster of 20 men. They had lots of guys coming in and out through the season. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think like lots of teams have the Cup hangover, right? Not very many teams are Tampa Bay who go back to back, but they were also in a bubble, different circumstances. They're not real cups, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So
I love that angle.
Your answer is New Jersey or Vegas. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think if the team that I'm most afraid of going into this season, like I'm trying to think of like a team that like everybody's overlooking.
Okay.
And like the team that I'm afraid of, like, oh, they're not going to be good. No, crap, they are. They're really good, actually. That's not good. Remember how last year we're all like, oh, Boston's done. Boston's done. At the beginning of the preseason, anybody listening that says they didn't say that, you're lying. You're 100% lying at the beginning of the year, unless you're like one of 5 people or you live in Boston.
And it's just an overconfident Boston fan.
Everybody was looking at the team, was like, they're done. This is it. They're done. Yeah. And no, they came back and they set a points record and they were the best team ever.
Blown away. Yeah. Unbelievable.
So somebody that I think could not going to do that. That's not what I'm saying. What I think is somebody's going to be sneaky good. I'm really not looking forward to playing Ottawa.
Yeah, they could. I was just saying that the other day to another friend that and he's an Ottawa fan. I was like, man, I think your team might sneakily be good next year.
Yeah, I'm really not looking forward to it because everybody's, and even myself, like I said, nobody listens to this thing, so I got nothing to worry about. But you're on Twitter, like the Ottawa Senators suck. Yeah, but they
He
might
said it.
not. they
They
might
might not.
actually not. We'll have to see what happens this year. That team could be scary if things start to click. I mean, Norris was hurt all last year. So now you've got Norris and Tarasenko, who might be deadlier because he's older and wiser than DeBrincat.
True.
So they're, kind of the same player, kind of not. Tarasenko's perennial 20-goal scorer. So we'll have to see. I think Ottawa is probably the team that scares me the most because we all just won't expect it. And it's not that we all won't expect it. It's so do you remember, I don't know how much you watched, but in 2014, 2015, when the Leafs played, I don't remember other teams starting goalies from that era because they didn't play against the Leafs. They never played the starter against the Leafs. They said, you're playing the Leafs tonight. You can sit, bud. Don't worry about it. We'll put the backup in. Right?
That's right.
So I don't know. I think that's kind of the way that the Ottawa Senators are going to be treated. And I'm interested to see if they don't just pop off because they're bound to eventually here. They dumped off a few good contracts, a few bad contracts, and they added a bunch of players who are kind of all similar. And now they're just deep, right? So it's I don't know. We'll have to see if they pop up and end up stealing a playoff spot. Buffalo is kind of a close second in there.
Yeah.
Buffalo scares me a little bit that they might just actually run the league next year. We'll see what happens. They're not like the Ottawa Senators who everybody's looking down. They might actually take the step and run the league, and they're right in our next door. They're right in our backyard.
Yeah.
So don't love that.
Watch.
Don't love that. So I wanted to go through the top 20 UFAs remaining. We won't go through all of them. I just want to hit some notable names.
Okay.
Patrick Kane still doesn't have a team.
I know. I've heard so many rumors too about where is he going to end up.
34 years old. So I don't know. We'll have to see. He's 34.
But it's Patrick Kane.
Yeah, I get that. But he's 34-year-old Patrick Kane. Right? He's not 26-year-old Patrick Kane. That's a different man. So
100%.
Jonathan Toews, who's already said he's not going to play this year, I think. He's going to take a year away from hockey. And then you've got somebody who I thought was a million years old, who's actually younger than both of those guys, Josh Bailey.
Yeah.
So he's only 33.
Old?
Yeah, he's only 33. I thought he was 37 or 38. No, he's 33. So he could still play. He's still got a couple of good years, right?
Yeah.
This one is somebody who's the teams normally just scoop up is Thomas Tatar.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a shot on him. He's good for 15 goals every year, if not pushing 20 if he gets the minutes. Do you remember that time the Edmonton Oilers traded Taylor Hall for Adam Larson? That was hilarious.
Yeah.
They also had Oscar Klefbom, and he is a UFA right now.
Right. 29 years old.
And 29 years old. I don't know what the story behind him. I think he kind of fell off a cliff. Kind of like only 32-year-old Jake Gardiner. He's only 32 now. He's
you have a lot of these guys who are older, eh?
Dude, in 2013, when we were killing this guy in 2013, he was playing. He's 22 years old.
Yeah.
Just roasting this poor child.
Yeah, this kid. Yeah.
32.
Oh my God.
I had no idea he was so young. But he's still out there. He's got a bad back. He hasn't played a whole lot of games. But this is all a list from Cap Friendly, their most notable free agents still remaining. Jesse Puljujarvi. Pool
Party.
Yeah, Pool Party. Jesse Pool Party. Yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a deal. I think he's an RFA, but he doesn't have a deal right now. He's still unsigned.
Yeah.
And then Nick Ritchie, good old Leaf legend Nick Ritchie, should trade William Nylander for Nick Ritchie. Nick Kiprio said that. He's apparently only 27 years old as well. Just not that old, but still not that great. So I'm surprised he's not playing on somebody's fourth line or something, because he does have a bit of a shot, right? He can shoot the puck. This one is really surprising that Ethan Bear hasn't signed yet.
Oh yeah, true.
I believe Vancouver has his rights. I don't.
Oh.
And if he's a UFA, then that's ridiculous. Like, I have no idea how Ethan Bear hasn't gone. He was a great player every time you watched him play. For some reason, at number 12, they have Mike Smith, who's 41 years old.
He's 41.
I don't know why. Isn't he done?
I would have thought so. But who knows?
You've got
top 20 from Cap Friendly. That's funny.
You've
Number
got
12, Mike Smith.
24-year-old Maxime Comtois at 14, and you've got Mike Smith at 12.
Yeah, 41-year-old Mike Smith is
apparently he's a little more notable than
an
Max
interesting
Comtois,
list.
who the Leafs were linked to a while ago. I think he's 24 years old, so his rights still be held by the Anaheim Ducks, and they still own him, but he doesn't have a deal for this year.
Okay.
Be interesting to see what he comes in at. Probably low, be like $2 million. That's my guess, somewhere in there.
Sure. Yeah.
37-year-old Paul Stastny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've heard. I saw a retirement rumor about him, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. I could be wrong, but just a rumor, I think.
Yeah. Well, right now they have him listed at 15, so we'll see if it happens or if he's going to play. He's 37, not as old as been around the Balak, Yaroslav Halak.
Ah, good one.
Yeah.
Very good.
38 years old.
Never kissed a girl?
Hey, go. Boom, 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 boom. That was good. That was very good.
Thank you.
38 years old. I don't know if he's going to keep playing or not. I think he's at that age where usually they retire. And this one is my last one that I wanted to get to.
Yes, I know what you're
Phil the Thrill Kessel.
Yes. Where's he going to be making hot dogs?
Dude,
and eating them?
He is willing to break his Ironman streak, and I believe he's willing to take a little bit less money. Can you imagine?
Cool.
I mean, the Leafs, they're already $4 million over the cap, 3-some million over the cap. They're going to be dealing with crap. But could you imagine him on the Avs? He's exactly the depth scoring that they need, that forward in case of injury insurance, right?
That would be fun.
Phil the Thrill. He's 3-time Cup champion, Phil the Thrill. Like, man knows.
Think he can handle the thin air up in Denver, the light air up in the mountains?
Oh yeah, that makes the hot dogs just float right into his mouth.
Mint.
Yes,
okay, good.
And he's just like light on his feet. It's like just float like a feather, sting like a bee. Did you ever hear the story about Phil Kessel? And everybody was working out, and somebody said, "Hey Phil, how come you never work out? We're all over here busting our asses." Oh,
right.
And he walks over to the bench machine and he picks up the whatever they had, and he does like 10 of them. And then he goes over to the squat rack, laughs at them, puts another plate on, and squats it, all before saying anything. And then goes back and reads his book.
That's amazing.
Wow. Like, I don't need to work out. It's like, you guys need to work out to be as strong as me. Like, that's just amazing, isn't it?
What a legend.
Absolute legend. The thrill.
That's so good.
So I think that's pretty much perfect. We are going to put a wrap on this week's episode of Split the Defense.
Yes, sir.
I will say goodbye to you, Twitch TV. Thanks for watching live. And to all of our listeners on Amherst Island Radio, 101.3, CJAI, and CJAI.CA. We'll be posting this first video to YouTube. So head on over and like that, subscribe that page, and you can see us every week on there, or listen live on Twitch, or listen on the radio. We love you all, and we will be back on YouTube and Twitch on Thursday.
Peace.
Peace.